Welcome to my focus, my very first podcast. And we have today Leonie Stanfield, who is the director of Careertalk, which is a career coaching business. Hi, Leonie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Leonie?
I'm good. So for some of you, obviously we both have the same name and we're both career coaches. So just going to introduce you to Leonie first in terms of her background. So Leonie Stanfield has more than 25 years experience in assisting a wide range of people progress in their careers, working with professionals, university students, athletes, and people generally who are making career transition. And so I met Leonie a few years back. We're going back 2012, and we have been very good friends since. And so Leonie is also a professional member of the Career Development Association of Australia. She was the New South Wales Division President in 2017 and 2018, and currently she's the National Executive Committee member in 2019 and 2020. So welcome, Leonie.
Thank you very much.
So in addition to what I've mentioned about your background, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Okay. I originally started with a social work degree many years ago at Melbourne Uni, and have quite a diverse career. Have done everything from working with university students and athletes through to a lot of time in vocational education and training, through to running a conference centre, CEO of an industry association, and now in my own career coaching practice. So yeah, pretty diverse.
Thank you. And so why did you pursue career coaching?
Oh, very interesting question. I think sometimes things pursue us. So I go back to even when I was doing a social work degree. My thesis for the end of that degree was why young people only stayed in their first job for a year. So even back then, when I could have chosen anything to work on, it was actually about work. And I found that a lot of my career has been involved in helping people gain work or make transitions in work. I was running a program for young people who left school early, and then managed services for unemployed people, managed vocational education training programs. So lots of different stuff. Work has been a really constant theme. And the fact that I really enjoy counselling and coaching means that career coaching is sort of a logical context for the coaching experience for me.
And in terms of career coaching, if you can just share with viewers in a few sentences, what is career coaching?
Okay. Well, I think coaching doesn't always get a good rap sometimes because, people either think of it as a sports coach or a coach to learn a new skill. And in a sense, career management is a whole set of skills. So a career coach really does help with a whole set of skills around how to manage your career in a world full of change, chance and uncertainty. But I also think that coaching is actually about helping people hear themselves. So I think the biggest gift you can give someone is actually to listen. And a coach is in a unique position to be able to give people an opportunity to think things through, to talk things through, and to gain additional perspectives. And so people end up making decisions, I think better decisions, when they've had the opportunity to really explore what they think and feel, and to find out other new knowledge that might help them, make a good decision.
I love what you just said. You said around helping clients actually hear themselves and giving them that opportunity to really realize who they are, their strengths, their values, and as a career coach, we can work with them to help them explore all of these things that perhaps they haven't really thought about for a long time in their career.
Yeah. It's so interesting when you talk to people, and we often talk about what we do, because that commands our attention. The what of our job is what we think about. But I often ask people about how they do things. So what makes them so good at their job? their strengths. And it's really hard. We're not used to talking about it. We're not used to thinking about it very much. So, and the why of why we do what we do often is something that gets ignored as well. So I like to think there's, some really valuable time spent thinking about what are the strengths that we have that we just dismiss, we don't even realise, because we just do our work, do it naturally.
Yes, I hear that all the time with my clients, so that everyone just thinks it's just what they do every single day, and they don't realise that they actually have a strength in stakeholder management, that they don't realise that communication skills are quite strong. So certainly that's where I see the benefit of coaching is. So how did you know that career coaching was the right path for you?
Look, I think that there are lots of right paths. So what do I use to determine what I think is a right path for me? Well, I actually think a lot of it is around enjoyment. So am I really feeling like this is something that lights me up and is something that I want to continue to grow in, that I want to develop expertise in, that I feel is aligned with who I am and the values that I have. So for me, I felt like career coaching was definitely the right path because listening is important to me. It's an important value, and it gives me a great opportunity to do that.
You definitely on the money there. I definitely think you're an exceptional listener. In the time I've known you since 2012, you're someone I turn to if I have a problem or have an issue in business or personal life. I can turn to you, and you'll just listen mindfully, and you would listen without judging, and you will just look at the facts, and you ask these questions that I would never think of asking, and help me understand or help me reflect. And so definitely, certainly one of your key strengths is listening.
Well, it's interesting. I think what you say about asking questions that help us reflect is really important. And I remember back many years ago where I felt like I was not good at asking questions. I just didn't know what questions to ask, and I thought, I'm not going to be good at this if I don't ask questions. But it's really interesting that over time, if you are really engaged in something and interested by it, you actually develop and you learn. And so I think I've learned to actually ask a whole lot more questions and learn to ask which questions are better. And sometimes it's also trial and error for people, to just give people an opportunity. A question is an opportunity.
It's really good to hear that from your experience, that you said that, asking questions wasn't something natural for you, and you've actually developed that skill over the years, which also also reinforces that any kind of skill, we can develop that skill, and by practicing we can then become really outstanding and proficient in that particular skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the golden question, I think, that most people who are new to coaching, they would want to know, what do you think are some of the benefits of career coaching?
Okay. Well, I think the benefits are definitely around helping formulate and understand your own perspectives and thinking. So a little bit in the sense that we've described, being able to talk things through, to have someone that is able to ask you things that help you reflect deeper, and perhaps go to places, put your attention in places that you hadn't thought of. So that to me is a real benefit, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and it's not until someone asks us something and forces us to almost think of things, that we learn some new stuff, maybe about ourselves or about what we're interested in. I think a career coach can be a great resource. So they have a lot of knowledge about where to go to find out things, about how to research things. So they can be a great source of direction as people think about exploring different options. Yeah.
Thank you, Leonie. Just so I can share to our listeners who are new to career coaching, I certainly think that one of the key benefits of coaching is being able to, similarly to what you said before, Leonie, to give the client the opportunity to speak and learn more about themselves. And for them, it's time for the client. Like, I was talking to a client recently, and she's a mother of 2 kids, very busy lifestyle, working full time, and it's very hard to make time for herself. So by booking a session with a career coach, it's like time dedicated for you. And so you will spend the time to think about your strengths, your achievements, your values, what makes you unique as a professional. And all these kind of questions, we tend to not think about it because we're too busy running day to day, getting through the day. But one of the key benefits I have found in the years of coaching is that for the client to feel empowered and for the client to feel confident. And so we as career coaches actually build their confidence, and over time working with the individuals, you'll see somebody go from where they are to where they want to be. And that's just the joy I think you and I both feel when we work with our clients, to see them progress and achieve their career aspirations.
Absolutely. I think we all want to live lives that are meaningful and as happy as we can be, and to be contributing in ways that we think are important. And so to help people sort of on that journey of discovery and rediscovery again, because let's face it, we don't stay static. We just constantly are about continuing to grow and take different options. And so I think it's great to be able to share that journey with people and create an environment that helps them to be able to keep progressing with it. I think you're so right in saying it gives them space to do that, because otherwise we do put things off. We get so caught up with the busyness of everything we're doing. This gives a sense of time and space to do it, but also accountability. So it means that you've got someone there with you to encourage you, but also to really encourage you to keep taking the steps that you want to take.
Yes, I love that, what you said, accountability, that they feel that they will have to make sure that they achieve and they're accountable, and they will report to you, Leonie, I did that task, right? I got it done. And a lot of the fears that we have as we are going through career transition, you're able to assist them to navigate through those fears and the change.
Yeah, it's interesting because all of us manage our own careers, and career coaches have a number of the same challenges that other people have as they manage their own careers. And I tell you what, it can be hard to take your own advice sometimes.
Absolutely. So this is a question for somebody who has never had a career coach in their life before, and they're trying to pick the right coach for them. So what advice do you give people about choosing the right career coach?
I think coaching, like most situations where it's a personal relationship, you really do need to be able to feel like you can have a sense of trust and a relatability. So it's going to be really difficult to develop a relationship with someone where maybe you just don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, or you feel intimidated or just not yourself. And sometimes for whatever reason we just don't click with certain people. And so I think it is important to find a coach that you feel confident that they're qualified, that you have a sense that that person is a trustworthy professional person. Maybe they're also part of an industry association like the Career Development Association of Australia or one of the other career development associations. But someone that you're confident is professional, someone that you're confident that you can trust, and someone that you're actually comfortable in discussing important issues with. And sometimes you only know that by trying that out. And so most coaches will recognise the importance of that as well. And they will want a new client to be comfortable. And if they're not, then they would suggest you probably should find someone that you are more comfortable with. So that's my initial take on that.
Yes, it's really important, as you mentioned, to have that connection with that coach and that you actually feel comfortable around that person and you're not intimidated by them. So you can be yourself and communicate and share your fears, because it's a lot of times it's about navigating those fears. And if you're not comfortable sharing those fears with the career coach, then how can the coach assist you? So yes, that connection is key. So I guess one of the things I'd like to also encourage people to contact yourself for career coaching. I'm also a coach. We have different target markets. So in terms of your clientele, who would you say ideally would be your target market?
Well, I probably don't have a super niche market because I actually work with so many different types of people. Particularly, I do work with people making career transitions probably later through their career. So at the moment, I'm doing quite a lot of work with people whose roles might have been made redundant, or they've gone through some sort of restructure and they're looking to think about what's next. I absolutely love helping people think through and explore new options. And so, but that's an important part of most of the work we do. So even if you're working with young people, and I do work with students at times and work with university students, at that point, you're still exploring. I think we're always going to be exploring. So yeah, that's what I really love to do. The other thing I think that is a big part of what a lot of career coaches do, and I certainly do, and I know Leonie, you do as well, is helping people articulate the value that they bring, because not always are we good at doing that. And my background, I had oh, well, actually, have to think about this. Shows my age. I had at least 14 years working as a national communications manager. So the communication space is one thing that's really quite dear to me. So, you know, I enjoy helping people find ways to, you know, to express the value they bring, whether that be through their resume, whether it's through their LinkedIn, whether it's through an interview. And I know all those areas are fantastic, strong, you know, areas for you where you work in as well. So yeah, I don't really have a niche market as such. I'm pretty happy to work with most people who are keen to move forward in their careers.
Same. So in terms of productivity, and this is a question I'm going to ask all of the who are part of this podcast, is there something that you do each day that helps you be more productive at work or in your personal life?
Yeah. Well, there absolutely is, and the one thing for me that's been constant is actually exercise. And it's funny because I actually do my best thinking when I'm out walking or running, and so or even swimming sometimes. I know it sounds a bit strange, but movement for me really helps unlock creativity and helps me think about things. So what I would do in my previous role was, if I had a project I was working on, something I needed to do some thinking about, I'd have a quick look at it and then I'd go walking. And then I could guarantee that while I was out there, I'd be getting ideas, I'd come back and I'd, you know, madly capture what I needed to. So for me, and I know that's probably a little bit unique, but I actually do find that that is really helpful. Exercise is really helpful for me to be creative and to give me space to think too.
I love that so much, how you mentioned that to actually look at something before you go for a walk. So the movement actually unlocks creativity for you. That is beautiful. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add today before I summarize?
No, I think it's been lovely chatting because it's been such a great journey for us as career practitioners together, and growing and learning and journeying together has been really lovely. And I think that's the one thing I would say about the career practitioner sort of network, in the sense that the majority of people I know in this space have a real heart for connecting with people and helping people achieve their potential. And so they're really quite generous in terms of the relationships that they build with each other, quite a sense of a collegiality between career practitioners. So I think it's a great profession to be part of, and certainly I value our ongoing relationships. We learn so much from each other.
Yes. Thank you so much, Leonie. I have learned so much from you over the years, and I still remember the one time, I think it's probably going back about 5 years, and you said to me, I was on the phone with you, and you said to me, Leonie, why don't you try and deliver a seminar? I said, no, me deliver it? Are you serious? Like, no, I don't think so. And then I was like, and then you said, yes, you can do it. Just give it a go. And I said, okay, I'll think about it. So you really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I delivered my first seminar at the Reinvent Your Career Expo that year. So thank you so much for being part of my life. We are part of, as Leonie Stanfield mentioned, that we are part of the Career Development Association of Australia. And in the past year, I've created a small mastermind group with Leonie Stanfield and Heidi Winnie as well. And we are part of a group called the Creative Careers Entrepreneurs. So we meet every 2 months online, and just to connect, collaborate, to learn from each other. And that's one of the exactly what Leonie's mentioned around us working closely together, and we're very passionate about what we do. So when we do meet, it feels like we are at home as a group, and to help individuals maximize their potential in the marketplace. So thank you very much for listening, everyone, and I'll be in touch with you. Look forward to the next one. Stay tuned. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.